Hi, I'm Haley, and I found out my family fund was short $780,000 right after my sister quietly moved out and refused to give anyone her new address. Everyone said I was overreacting until I matched the money to her schedule. If you've lived through something like this, share your experience in the comments. An email popped up as my compliance meeting wrapped. Subject line in all caps: account review required. The bank that held our family fund wasn't supposed to email me like that unless something was on fire. I opened it. Balance discrepancy. Large transactions require verification. My chair rolled back before I realized I'd moved. I called my mom. "Where are the fund papers?" I asked. "They were in the desk," she said. "Brittany stopped by earlier and took some things. She's moving." "Moving where?" A pause, then, "She didn't say, just that she needed to get out." The number in the email sat there like a dare. $780,000 missing. Traffic from Uptown to Matthews was its usual mess, but my foot stayed heavy anyway. When I pulled into my parents' driveway, the curb was bare except for faint tire marks, like a truck had been there and erased itself. The front door was unlocked. Mom stood in the kitchen holding her phone the way people do when they want the call to end. Brittany's voice carried from the hallway. Don't make this dramatic," she said, stepping into view like she'd been waiting for her cue. A new bracelet flashed on her wrist, the kind of metal that doesn't apologize for being expensive. "I'm just staying somewhere else for a bit." "Give me the address," I said. "We need it for the fund records." "It's not settled yet," Brittany replied. "When I'm settled, I'll send it." Her room looked scrubbed, closet empty, dresser drawers open and bare. The only thing left was a fat folder jammed crooked in the desk drawer, like someone had shoved it in with their elbow. I pulled it out on the spot. Statements ended last month. The latest packet was gone. "Where's the recent statement?" I asked. Brittany blinked too fast. "That one I put away so it doesn't get lost." Mom shifted. "Haley, honey, maybe what?" I kept flipping pages. A torn form slid out. Change of address. Most of it was ripped clean, but the bottom corner still showed 2 words: South End. Brittany's mouth tightened. "You moved to South End?" I said. "I said it's temporary," she snapped. My phone buzzed. Another message from the bank. "Verify within 48 hours or transactions will be restricted." Mom's doorbell app chimed at the same time, then showed a gray screen and the words "offline." "It just stopped working today," Mom said, too quickly, like she'd rehearsed it. Brittany lifted a hand. "Don't call the bank right now. They'll be annoying. I mean, they make everything harder." I looked at the ripped paper, then at her bracelet. "Secret move, but you leave South End in the drawer. Very discreet." Brittany turned to Mom. "Tell her. She looks at everyone like they're criminals." I set my laptop on the kitchen table and dialed the bank. The ringtone started. Brittany's fingers closed over my wrist as the phone rang, and the folder thudded against the table when she yanked it toward her chest. "Give me that." "No." Mom stepped between us like her body could solve math. Brittany's bracelet caught the light again, and for a second I hated that my brain noticed it. "Haley, please," Mom said. "Not like this." The call connected. I turned my shoulder away and spoke fast. "Hi, this is Haley Lawson. I got an account review email for the family fund. There's a balance discrepancy, $780,000. Brittany froze at the number like it had slapped her. Mom's hand went to her mouth. The banker's voice stayed polished. "Ms. Lawson, I can see the alert. For full statements, we'll need verification from a co-trustee or updated authorization. There was a recent change to the primary contact information." "A change?" I asked. "Yes, ma'am," Brittany said, too evenly. "See? It's just paperwork." I ended the call with the promise of an appointment at the branch and walked out before Brittany could reach for the phone again. In the driveway, Mom followed. "She said you're making it bigger than it is," Mom whispered, like Brittany could hear through drywall. "Mom, the bank doesn't send that email for fun." Mom stared at the street where the moving truck should have been, then looked back at me like I'd asked her to pick a side in a war she didn't understand. At the branch the next morning, the lobby smelled like printer toner and patience. A banker in a navy blazer sat me down, pulled up the account, and kept using the words policy and restriction like a shield. "We can provide a general transaction summary today," she said, "but detailed statements require either the co-trustee present or proper documentation, especially since there was a contact update." "Who updated it?" I asked. "I can't disclose that without authorization." Great. Somebody could reroute $500,000, but the person who noticed was the liability. Out in the parking lot, my call to Mom went straight through. "Mom, can you come down here and confirm access?" I asked. Her sigh crackled through the speaker. "Brittany says you're panicking. She says the bank is going to freeze things because you keep calling. Are you sure you're not overreacting?" The phrase landed harder than it should have. The fund was missing $780,000, and somehow I was the dramatic one. Before I could answer, a group text popped up from Brittany. The family chat name was still Sunday Dinner, which felt optimistic. "Haley is spiraling and making the bank suspicious about the fund. Please don't engage. We'll handle this as a family," my aunt replied within 30 seconds. "Why are we airing money matters?" My uncle added, "Keep it private. No need to involve outsiders." At work, my manager asked me into her office before I'd even logged in. "Someone contacted the bank's corporate line," she said, careful. "They claimed you're using your professional position to pressure a family member." "That's not what's happening," I said. "I'm not asking you to explain details," she replied. "I'm giving you a warning. Keep your personal issues away from the workplace. Understood?" Understood. My phone didn't stop for the rest of the afternoon. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions. "Why are you doing this to your sister?" "She's going through something. Don't kick her while she's down." By the time I got off the elevator near my building, my jaw hurt from holding it steady. A diner near my office had a booth open and a familiar face already sitting there. Marisol Vega, the only person at work who could look at a spreadsheet like it owed her money, slid a coffee toward me without asking. "You look like you lost a fight with a printer," she said. "It's my sister," I told her, "and the family fund. And apparently, I'm the villain." Marisol didn't soften. "Do you have numbers or do you have feelings?" "I have an email from the bank and a missing statement." "Then get numbers," she said. "Stop arguing with people who don't read." She pulled out her phone and dictated like she was building a case file. 3 columns: date, payee, notes. Start with the biggest transactions. You're not proving she's a bad person. You're proving where the money went. Back at my car, I called the doorbell support line while Marisol watched my face. The rep confirmed the account administrator had been changed that morning. "New email on file," he said. "Would you like me to read it back?" "Yes," I said. It wasn't mine. It wasn't Mom's. It wasn't even a domain I recognized. Marisol leaned in. "That's not an accident," she said. I went back to the branch with my ID and the few documents I'd managed to keep from Brittany's grab. The banker printed a summary sheet and slid it over. Recurring payments, rent, utilities, then another cluster, luxury retail. My phone rang. Brittany. "What are you doing at the bank?" she demanded. "Finding out where the fund is going," I said. "It's for the family," she shot back. "Stop before you get it frozen." Marisol's voice stayed low beside me. "You need a lock point," she said. "A meeting, a deadline. Don't let her spin you in circles." As I stared at the paper, Mom's text came through. "Sunday at Lake Norman. Brittany wants this settled in front of everyone." The office lights were on a timer, but Marisol and I were still at my desk with the bank summary between us. "Find the pattern," she said. "Rent, utilities, a property management fee landing on the same day every month." Marisol wrote the dates while I pulled up my calendar and scrolled through old family reminders. That weekend, again and again. Brittany always had an excuse then. She skipped Mom's cardiology appointment. She missed Dad's birthday brunch and texted, "Love you, rain check." I'd called it flaky. The bank called it a schedule. Marisol leaned closer. "Your sister has a standing appointment," she said, "and it isn't therapy." The property management charge listed a phone number. I dialed it before my nerves could invent a reason not to. A receptionist answered like she'd been smiling all day. "South End Residential Management, this is Tina." My name is Haley Lawson, I said. I'm trying to verify billing information connected to a lease under Brittany Lawson. Keys clicked. Yes, we have a lease in that name, Tina said. Are you authorized on the account? I'm connected to the payment source, I said. When did the lease start? It began 8 months ago. Marisol's pen stopped midair. 8 months meant the moving truck wasn't a move. It was stage 2. Where are invoices sent? I asked. They were going to a P.O. box, but the billing email changed a few days ago, Tina said. We updated it Tuesday. Tuesday matched 2 other things, the doorbell account administrator switching and the newest bank statement disappearing from Mom's drawer. Marisol mouthed, on purpose. A notification from Brittany popped up while my phone was still warm from the call. A photo of coffee and a caption about control tagged half the family. She didn't have to name me, she was building a script. The next code on the bank sheet pointed to a luxury store in South Park. I went after work and asked for a manager. I'm looking into recurring transactions, I said, pickups tied to this card. She kept her tone professional, which somehow made it worse. We can't disclose item details, she said, but yes, there have been regular pickups. Gifts, usually. Great, I said. The family fund is now running a romance program. In the parking lot, Marisol called. Your sister contacted me, she said. How? She just did. I need peace. Please don't help her ruin my life. She's ruining her life with my money, I said, and the sentence came out flatter than I expected. Marisol didn't argue. She just said, don't go to South End tonight. While she talked, my phone kept lighting up. Aunt Denise asked why I was dragging business into public. My cousin sent a thumbs down, like we were voting on a recipe. Brittany added another post, same coffee cup, this time, some people weaponize paperwork. Then she called me. Stop showing up places, she said. I haven't shown up anywhere, I replied. You're scaring Mom, Brittany said. You're scaring everyone. Then give the bank the statement, I said. Silence. Then a click. The countdown from the bank still read 31 hours. Marisol watched me pocket my phone like she was timing how fast I'd ignore her. So I drove to South End. The lobby was polished and guarded, the kind of place that posts rules about privacy like they're doing you a favor. I lingered near the entrance, pretending to scroll, watching the doors. Brittany walked in like she belonged there, hair done, jacket fitted. A man followed close enough to count as familiar. She handed him a key fob without looking. He took it like he'd done it before. They headed toward the elevators, and Brittany turned her head. Her eyes landed on me. Not confusion, recognition. She froze for half a beat, then grabbed the man's arm and pulled him forward. I stepped after them. Britt, a security guard slid into my path. Ma'am, you need to leave, he said. I'm her sister, I said. I just need 1 minute. Management received a complaint, he said. Harassment. You can't be here. Brittany's fingers closed over my wrist as the phone rang, and the folder thudded against the table when she yanked it toward her chest. Give me that. No. Mom stepped forward with both hands up. Haley, please, she said. Not like this. The call connected. I turned my shoulder away and spoke fast. Hi, this is Haley Lawson. I got an account review email for the family fund. There's a balance discrepancy, $780,000. Brittany froze at the number. Mom's hand went to her mouth. The banker's voice stayed polished. Ms. Lawson, I can see the alert. For full statements, we'll need verification from a co-trustee or updated authorization. There was a recent change to the primary contact information. A change? I asked. Yes, ma'am. Brittany said, too evenly. See? It's just paperwork. I ended the call with the promise of an appointment at the branch and walked out before Brittany could reach for the phone again. Outside, her call kept ringing until it died on its own. A second later, a text arrived. Stop stalking me. Work email hit before sunrise. Subject line, immediate action required. HR. I opened it at my kitchen counter, still wearing yesterday's clothes. A complaint has been filed alleging harassment and stalking of a resident at South End, it read. You are placed on administrative leave pending investigation. My manager followed up with a short message. Do not access client systems. Do not represent the bank in any capacity. HR will contact you. I drove to the branch anyway, not to work, just to keep the fund from bleeding. The same banker met me at a small desk and didn't offer the smile this time. "Ms. Lawson, your access has been limited," she said. "Limited how?" I asked. "Your online view is restricted, and we can't release additional statements to you right now. There was an update to the account representative last night." "By who?" She gave the practiced look. "I can't discuss that." The bank's deadline didn't care. My phone buzzed with a new email attachment. Not from the bank, from an attorney. The letterhead belonged to a firm I recognized from billboards. The first paragraph was polite. The second was a threat. "Cease and desist," it said. "You are to stop contacting any third parties regarding the Lawson Family Fund, including financial institutions, property managers, and vendors. Your conduct constitutes abuse of position and reputational harm." Brittany had hired a lawyer to tell me to stop noticing. I drove to my parents' house expecting at least a conversation. Mom opened the door a crack and didn't step aside. "The desk is locked," she said. "What desk?" I asked, though the answer was obvious. "The box where your dad keeps the fund papers." Her hand stayed on the door like it was a steering wheel. Brittany changed the lock. She said it protects the family. "From what?" I said. "From this," Mom replied, eyes flicking to my phone. "From banks and letters and—" Dad's office door was shut. The new lock gleamed like it had been installed with pride. Mom blocked the hallway, not angry, just tired. A knock came from behind me. Marisol stood on the porch holding a single sheet of paper. "HR got you?" she asked. 10 minutes ago, I said. She stepped in, kept her voice low. "Then stop chasing your sister like it's a personal argument. Treat it like a control problem." Marisol handed over the paper. 3 columns again, but this one was a checklist. Trust documents, authorization forms, bank contact names, proof of improper changes, records preservation request. "These are the pieces you need if you want access back," she said. "You keep reacting to her traps." Mom pointed at the line about proof of improper changes. "What changes?" she asked. Marisol nodded at me. "Call the doorbell company again." The support rep confirmed what the branch wouldn't. The administrator email had been changed yesterday morning, and the login history showed a new device. That explained the doorbell system going dead at my parents' house right when Brittany emptied her room. No accident, just erasing footprints and naming me the intruder. Brittany called that afternoon. Her voice sounded calm, like she'd ordered calm online. "See," she said, "the more you fight, the more you look unstable." "Give back the statement," I said. "You don't get to demand anything," she replied. "You're not in charge." The call ended. No yelling, no closure. By evening, the plan I'd started with was gone. No job access, no bank access, no room in my parents' hallway. My thumb hovered over my contacts, then scrolled to a name Marisol had texted, a trust and estate attorney in Charlotte. The scheduling page loaded, and one slot blinked on the screen. Emergency appointment. Today. The elevator dropped me on the 8th floor in Uptown, and the receptionist looked up like she'd already heard the day was going badly. "Name?" "Haley Lawson, emergency appointment." She slid a clipboard over. My stack hit the counter. Printed bank alerts, screenshots of transactions, the torn South End corner, the cease and desist letter, and the papers fanned out. A door opened. A man in a gray suit waved me back. "Mr. Patel," he said, "come in." His office was small, practical, and calm. He didn't offer sympathy. He offered a legal pad. "Start with what you can prove," he said. "The fund is short $780,000, I said. "My sister changed contacts, moved without an address, and now I'm on leave because she filed a complaint." He nodded once, then pointed his pen at the bank email. "This isn't about who's right or loud," he said. "It's about who has signing authority and who controls communication. Whoever controls the statements controls the story." Brittany hadn't just taken money. She'd taken the steering wheel. Mr. Patel asked for names, roles, dates. He just circled co-trustee on his pad. "Do you have the trust document?" he asked. "Locked in my dad's office," I said. "Then we get copies another way," he said. "Banks keep them. Courts keep them. People who think they're being clever forget that." I laid out the mistakes without being asked, because pretending I'd been perfect felt childish. I believed her when she said it was temporary, I said. That's common, he replied. I went to the South End building, I said. I pushed it. I made it easy for her to call me the problem. He wrote something down. That gave her leverage. And I let her reroute the doorbell account and the statements while I was trying to calm my mom down, I added. Mr. Patel looked up. You're not the first person to confuse family peace with safety. Marisol stepped in then, holding her phone like evidence. I pulled the admin email from the doorbell provider, she said. She read it out loud. Mr. Patel copied it carefully, letter by letter. Then Marisol slid over another note. South End Residential Management, she said. That's the legal name. Tina confirmed the billing email changed Tuesday. Lease started 8 months ago. There's also a signer listed on the lease packet, Darren Klein. The name snapped into place with the man I'd seen in the lobby. Mr. Patel didn't react, but his pen moved faster. Good, he said. Now we act. He flipped to a fresh page and started listing steps. 1. We file a petition for temporary control, or at least temporary restraints on distributions, depending on the trust language, he said. 2. We send the bank a records preservation request. That stops lost statements from becoming convenient. 3. We notify the property manager to preserve the lease file and communications. If they ignore it, that tells us something too. He paused. This will not feel like a family solution. I didn't answer right away. In my head, I could hear my aunt's text about keeping things private. I could also see Brittany's bracelet and the rent payments lined up like clockwork. If I do this, I said, they'll say I'm dragging her to court. They will, he said. And if you don't, you'll be permanently locked out while the fund keeps bleeding. Pick which criticism you can live with. The bank's timer was still running. So was Brittany. Mr. Patel pushed an authorization form toward me. This lets me speak to the bank and request documents on your behalf, he said. I signed, then initialed in 3 places. Each pen stroke felt like drawing a boundary my family hadn't wanted to acknowledge. At the door, he handed me a card with a direct number. Call the bank's fraud and estate team, he said, not the branch. Use that number. Well, tell them I'm representing you. Mom's name lit up my screen while the bank line kept ringing, so I answered her first. Haley, what are you doing? She said. Trying to keep the fund from getting drained and frozen, I said. Brittany says you're making it worse, Mom replied. She said you showed up at her building and scared people. I spoke to a security guard, I said. That's the full story. Mom exhaled like she'd been holding it all day. Please don't bring papers to the Lake Norman thing, she said. She wants it calm. Just talk. The word calm sounded like a request for silence. I have to go, I said, and ended the call before it turned into a vote. Mr. Patel's number got me through to a specialized team at the bank, not a branch desk. A woman introduced herself and asked for the reference code from the records request. Ms. Lawson, we can walk through activity with your attorney on the line, she said. Mr. Patel joined from his office. Proceed, he said. And please note, we're requesting preservation of all communications and contact changes. The banker didn't argue. She read the timeline like a weather report that never improved. It wasn't one withdrawal, she said. It's a series. 8 months of recurring payments, housing-related charges, utilities, vendor transactions consistent with retail luxury. Rent, utilities, gifts, travel costs that hit on Fridays and cleared on Mondays. The total climbed in clean steps until it landed on $780,000 like a finished sentence. Mr. Patel asked, "Were there contact updates?" Yes, the banker said. Primary statements were rerouted, electronic delivery settings changed, new email added, a mailing address update was attempted and partially completed. The torn corner from the drawer flashed in my mind, the part that still said South End. Not a mistake, a breadcrumb. Marisol texted while the banker talked. HR emailed again. I opened it with one hand and kept the phone pinned to my ear. Your administrative leave will be extended due to external legal correspondence, the message read. No details, no deadline, just a longer cage. Mr. Patel's voice sharpened. Any flags related to unusual access requests? The banker hesitated. Yesterday evening, someone requested limitations on account visibility for certain parties due to a family dispute, she said. We honored the request under our internal policy, pending documentation. Brittany had fed them the same story she fed everyone else. I was the disturbance, so my access had to be managed. Mr. Patel asked for the names on the request. The banker gave them, along with timestamps. Thank you, he said. Now let's discuss immediate controls. Can we restrict distributions pending court guidance without halting necessary obligations? We can place a temporary hold on discretionary transfers, she said, but if there's an active dispute, some functions may be limited. That was the trap. Stop the bleeding and get accused of freezing the family, or do nothing and watch money walk away. When the call ended, Marisol met me in a parking garage because neither of us wanted to give Brittany the satisfaction of a home address. South End management won't talk now, she said. I called back and they said, Marisol lowered her voice and mimicked the receptionist, we only communicate through the tenant's attorney. My phone buzzed again, a new email, this time from a different firm. Brittany's attorney had attached a draft petition for a restraining order request, citing harassment and continued contact with vendors and property staff. Mr. Patel read it and didn't flinch. This is pressure, not proof, he said, but it's effective pressure. Brittany wasn't just spending money. She was building lanes so I couldn't follow it. Statements rerouted, video doorbell control transferred, a complaint filed the moment I got close. Now a legal gag order attempt. Family texts kept stacking up, all variations of the same theme. Stop escalating. Think of your mother. Handle it privately. Then Brittany sent her own version to the group. Haley is not stable right now. Please don't encourage her. Marisol glanced at the screen. She's writing your obituary while you're still breathing, she said. Lake Norman sat on my calendar like a deadline with a bow on it. Brittany wanted a meeting where feelings mattered more than documentation, where she could talk first and frame me as the aggressive sibling. Mr. Patel called back with a plan and 3 email addresses. Send me everything, he said. Bank summaries, screenshots, that South End contact, the doorbell administrator email, the cease and desist, the new petition draft, all of it. At my kitchen table, the laptop opened to a blank message, files dragged over in clumps. The subject line started forming as my fingers moved. We bring this to the right table. Sunday at Lake Norman. Lake Norman was already loud when I walked in. Paper plates, casseroles, people talking over each other like volume could keep things in the family. Brittany had claimed the middle seat at the long dining table, shoulders rounded just enough to look wounded. Mom hovered near her like an attendant. Haley, be normal today, my Aunt Denise said as I passed her. No drama. Brittany looked up and sighed like I'd shown up late to my own intervention. Thank you for coming, she said. Let's just talk. Mr. Patel had dropped me off and parked down the street. He wasn't at the table, but his presence sat in my bag with the documents. That was the point. I wasn't here to win a shouting match. I was here to put numbers where everyone could see them. I pulled out a stack of printed pages and set it on the table in front of me, spreading it flat like a place setting. I printed a little extra, I said, keeping my voice even. If anyone's allergic to paper, scoot back. My cousin snorted despite herself. Brittany's face tightened. Mom's eyes flicked to the pages. Haley, just let her, Brittany cut in, soft but sharp. She needs to perform. I slid the first page forward. It was a simple total and 2 categories. $780,000, I said, over 8 months. Uncle Ray leaned in. That can't be right, he said. It's not one withdrawal, I replied. It's recurring payments, rent and utilities same day each month, then retail, high-end stores, pickups. Brittany gave a small laugh, the kind that invites the room to laugh with her. Those are family expenses, she said, or investments, or banking errors. Haley sees a spreadsheet and assumes the worst. She turned to Mom. Tell them, Brittany said. She's obsessed with money. She always has been. Mom's mouth opened, closed, then opened again. Your sister has been stressed, she said. She's trying to help us in her way. I nodded once and moved to the next page. No arguing, just sequence. Here's the timing, I said. These charges hit on the weekends Brittany was busy. Brittany's smile stayed put. Coincidence, she said. Do you hear yourself? I reached into my bag and laid down a copy of the lease summary. South End Residential Management, I said. Lease start date, 8 months ago. Tenant, Brittany Lawson. The room went quieter without anyone announcing it. Brittany sat straighter. That's private, she snapped. How did you even get that? The phone number was on the transaction line, I said. I called. Brittany looked at the table like the wood might back her up. It's temporary housing, she said. I needed space. Everyone's acting like that's a crime. I put down the bank documentation next. Contact change confirmations, email update records, the attempted mailing address update. Statements were rerouted, I said. Primary contact changed. That happened the same week the latest statement disappeared from Mom's drawer. Aunt Denise shifted in her chair. Brittany, she said, did you change where the statements go? Brittany exhaled hard. I was protecting Mom, she said. Haley scares her with her bank talk. Then I played the shortest thing I had, the one Brittany handed me herself without realizing it, a voicemail from earlier in the week, amplified on my phone speaker. Don't call the bank right now, Brittany's voice said, irritated and too fast. They'll be annoying. Just stop. I tapped the screen to end it. No speech after. No flourish. Brittany's cheeks flushed. Wow, she said. You're doing this in front of everyone. You're making a spectacle. A couple relatives stared at their hands. Uncle Ray kept looking between the lease and Brittany like his brain was buffering. Brittany pointed at me, voice rising. You love this, she said. You love humiliating me. I glanced at the total line on the first page. You're the one with the budget for spectacle, I said. I'm just reading it out loud. Her chair scraped back. I'm leaving, Brittany said, and I'm suing all of you. Every single one. You think this is funny? She grabbed for Mom's phone on the table, snatched it like it was proof, then reached for the stack of pages as if ripping them would erase the transactions. Mom stood up, hands shaking. Brittany, stop! The front door opened. A man stepped in, not family, holding an envelope and looking around like he'd been given bad directions. Brittany Lawson? He asked. Brittany froze with her fingers curled around the edge of the spreadsheet. Who are you? She said. The man took 2 steps closer and held out the envelope. Ma'am, he said, you've been served. And Brittany whipped her head toward me. What is this? She snapped. A petition for temporary control of the Lawson Family Trust, he said. Your response dates are listed. Brittany's eyes jumped over the page. Mom reached for her, then stopped, like touching would make it real. This is insane, Brittany said. Haley, you can't do this to me. Uncle Ray cleared his throat. Britt, did you sign a lease in South End? He asked. She folded the envelope against her chest. Everyone needs to stop interrogating me, she said. I'm leaving. No one stood up to block her. That was the part people don't warn you about. When a family decides to cut someone off, it usually starts with letting them walk out. Monday morning, Mr. Patel forwarded a letter from the bank on letterhead. One sentence did all the work. Effective immediately, Brittany Lawson is removed as an authorized party on the account. A second page listed the new rules. Dual signatures for any distribution over a set amount. Statements sent to a neutral mailing address. Online access locked to 2 verified devices. The banker called to confirm. Ms. Lawson, for verification, what was your childhood street name? She asked. I answered. She paused, then said, Thank you. Hold please while I finalize the restriction. When she came back, the account changes were live. My voice came out low. First time those security questions ever felt helpful, I said. She didn't laugh, but the line went silent long enough to count as agreement. South End followed a week later. A certified letter from the property manager landed in my inbox because Mr. Patel demanded all communications be preserved. The lease was being terminated for non-payment, and the balance due was listed in a neat column like it was proud. Marisol met me after work and slid her phone across the table. Look, she said. A moving company had posted a photo online, blurred, but the building lobby was unmistakable. Boxes stacked by the elevator, Brittany's name printed on a label. The caption was some generic ad about fresh starts.
Fresh starts cost money, Marisol said. Who knew?
Brittany's number stopped showing up after the bank lock. Not because she chose peace, because she ran out of leverage. In the weeks after, relatives didn't argue with her. They just stopped responding. Aunt Denise removed Brittany from the family chat. My cousin deleted the Sunday dinner thread entirely and started a new one without her. Nobody announced it. Brittany simply disappeared from the group list, like an app update you didn't request. Mom didn't apologize in a big speech. She brought me a folder of old trust copies she'd found in a kitchen cabinet, set it on my counter, and stood there with her hands clasped. I didn't think she could do this, she said. She did, I replied. Mom nodded, eyes red, then asked one thing. Are you going to ruin her life? Mr. Patel handled the legal part. Brittany signed a repayment agreement after her attorney realized the bank records weren't going away. A clerk stamped the filing, and the sound was blunt. The deal required monthly repayment and barred her from any future authority over the fund. The bank also opened a formal review for misuse of trust distributions, which meant Brittany couldn't pretend it was a misunderstanding anymore. My job situation took longer. HR cleared me when the building complaint collapsed under the bank timeline and the service papers. The leave stayed on my record anyway because bureaucracy loves souvenirs. Boundaries became paperwork. Brittany didn't get calls. She got emails through attorneys. Mom didn't get to ask me to just talk. She got a schedule. Sunday dinner if Brittany wasn't there, and no surprise drop-ins. A month later, I stood at Mr. Patel's mailbox slot with an envelope. The spare key to my parents' lockbox sat taped to a card, labeled in my handwriting. I slid it through the slot, kept my fingers on the edge, and felt my phone vibrate in my other hand with a number that wasn't saved.